Well, hello friends, neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. As I said, we're going to do some bourbon over the next month. And today, pretty available, widely reviewed, a couple of bourbons. We're going to look at Evan Williams Bourbon and then just a quick comparison to Wild Turkey 101 to see kind of what my palate's telling us today. So when you come back, we'll take a look at Evan Williams Bourbon.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me. I don't know whether this is going to be a short review or a long, relaxed review. I don't know where we're going yet, but Evan Williams, a very affordable bottle and bond in my area, and I think in most markets. It's from Heaven Hill Distillery. Since there's no age stamp on it, but because it's bottle and bond, we know that it's at least 4 years old. It's under one distilling, one distiller supervision, one run, that kind of thing. It's bottled at 50%. And as always, there's no color, there's none of that junk in here. Feels just like honest bourbon. And like I said, really, really affordable. You know what I don't know is, and I should, is what kind of char they have. Because, when you get to Wild Turkey, it talks about that, they're well noted for using a number 4 char. I imagine Evan Williams uses probably like a number 3, but I don't really know that. That would be interesting to know. In terms of mash bill, boy, I'm only thinking about the rye. I think it's somewhere around a 10% rye, 12% barley, something like that. So we'll see what this bottle and bond gives us today. Sweetness comes up pretty quick, but there's a little bit of the cinnamon in there. Kind of a cooked brown sugar nose. Yeah, and although I don't always get it with Heaven Hill products, there's a little bit of roasted nut in there. We're not talking Jim Beam peanut, but there's something in there. So a little bit of roasted nut, but mostly sweetness, brown sugars, vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon. Not bad. There's a fair amount of alcohol. It doesn't seem like it's not overwhelming, but it's certainly more alcohol present than some of their lower proof products. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. I got a nice interplay between spice and sweetness. It's still got a lot of maybe add a little caramel and toffee. Cooked brown sugar is still there. It's maybe a little more caramel in it now in the mouth, and then some nice light cinnamons. This isn't like huge cooked down, powerful. Even just cinnamon red hearts. It's more like, yeah, okay, there's some cinnamon there, a little bit of spiciness. As often with finishes, that's when I get a little more oak. Not a lot of oak, but there's some fresh wood in here, and not a lot of char. It really leans toward kind of a sweeter experience. Yeah. It's a decent bourbon. I like it. As I said in the opener, not my first bottle, which means I like it enough to buy it again. Part of that is because it's a decent value. It's nice to have on the shelf. Makes really good cocktails. I don't really make complicated cocktails. Makes a great old fashioned, makes a good whiskey sour, those kinds of things. It's really, I don't stray too far from some pretty easy to make mixes. But I don't find it really a lot of depth. So I know sometimes I've seen some reviewers really love the bottle, and I like it, but I don't love it. So, when this is done, it probably will be a couple of years before the bottle makes it again on my shelf, something like that. So, boy, I want to give it a higher rating, but I'm not. It sits in that, almost every bottle sits there right now, like 3.25, kind of somewhere in that 3.5, something like that. Okay, we'll run over to Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey isn't a bottle and bond, but often reported to have somewhere like between 6 and 8 year old bourbons in it. It's bottled, of course, 101, so that's 50.5% ABV. And as I said earlier, this we know has a number 4 barrel char in it. Not in it, it's aged in barrels that have that more alligator toasted barrels. And it has a little more rye. What did I say in this one? I hope I said this one was more like 10% rye, because I think Wild Turkey has at least 12%. Why am I blanking on mash bills? I think we're 12% rye here and 10% over there. This is a bit of a spicier nose, and for me, a little bit of sourness to it, which I'm now quite liking in Wild Turkey products, but there's a little edge to it to me that comes off as kind of a souring. I'm already getting a little more edge of a red fruit in there. And in comparison, this is very brown sugar vanilla. This I've got a little more spice, some edge. Cheers. There is definitely more oak and char in the palate for me, and the spicing adds a little cracked pepper to the cinnamon. There's less brown sugar. There's on an edge, like with that oakiness, there's an edge of bitterness that I could be critical about, or that sourness could be, slightly off-putting. But it is, to me, significantly more layers of flavor going on. I find it a little strong now that I'm breathing it. It's got a little more hug to it, and I think maybe even the alcohol is more present in this comparison. But it's just a nicer bourbon for me. Wild Turkey 101 is easily 3 3/4, pushing into 4, whereas this is more like 3.5. In my neighborhood, the Wild Turkey costs less than the Evan Williams Bottled in Bond, but both are very affordable. I don't know how else to say. Yeah, there's just a richness. It's just kind of coating in my mouth, kind of playing a little bit there, and I would gladly make those simple cocktails, as I said, a nice old fashioned or whatnot without Wild Turkey. It works very, very well. But if I'm gonna sip on a very affordable bourbon, not burden, I'm gonna reach for Wild Turkey. Thanks for joining me for that short and quick comparison. Hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend, and really hope I get a chance to do some samples with you tomorrow. Take care.